Hello everyone, Coach Dave here, and welcome to this week's track guide. We are finally looking at Francorchamps, and as always, the rule is I have to be within 1 second of the top 10 times, so 26.8 there, and I think in the end I did a 27.5, excuse me. Okay, so here we are. We're going to be in the Jaguar Gr.4 car around Spa for daily race B. Starting a lap, we're going to analyze the same lap from different camera angles. This track is very difficult to extract the ultimate lap time just purely because it's very long and flowing. So you're braking just after 100 meters for turn 1. Try and get the rotation and get a late apex so that you can get on the power as early as possible. Eau Rouge, very difficult to get right, Eau Rouge and Radiant. But in the Group 4s it seems to be easy flat. Maximize the left hand curb there so you can straighten up the car through the right hander up and over the crest, heading down Camel Straight. Very easy to get a wobbly car there and understeer through Radiant, so you want to avoid that by maximizing the curb at the bottom of Eau Rouge so you can get the car straight as possible. Now here, spot the curb and brake just as the curb starts. Maximize this apex curb there, straight line the next one using the AstroTurf if necessary. And in the Jag I seem to be short shifting, again using as much curb as possible through Lacoon. Very important. Turn 8, Bruxelles, brake into the corner. And ideally you want to keep a tighter line. I think on this lap I managed to do it because once you get to the apex of Bruxelles you want to think about no name, which we're going through now. You can also go through there in 4th gear. I think 4th gear may be a little bit quicker. This lap wasn't perfect, but I felt like it was good enough to give a good demonstration. On the right there is a Marshall board. That's where you brake and hug that apex for a little bit longer than you think, going through the double gosh aka Pouon, and then easy flat through the next left-hander, bringing it over to the left again as quickly as possible, braking where the bridge is through the S's. You want to get on that curb there on the right, and then just clipping a late apex, a bit of curb there on the exit, heading into Stubble 1. Very difficult. You brake as the curb starts and turn in earlier than you think because it's a downhill right. Maximizing the curb on the exit. Should be easy flat in Stubble 2 in the Group 4 cars, using as much road as you can. And then in real life, I tend to run this curb all the way through to Blanchimard, but in the game you're going to minimize distance covered, so cut the apexes as much as possible. And then what I do through here is I link this left-hander into Blanchimard. I never straighten my steering wheel entirely. I feel much more comfortable when I'm linking the two corners together. And then once the shadow ends here, you're braking. So it's like at 120 meters you brake for the final chicane. Very easy to miss your braking point there and run wide. So in the race, just be sure that you are being a bit on the safer side. Obviously the shadows don't move around here, so you know you can brake at the shadow for that tree area. Now we're going to cut to the overhead cam so you can get a better idea of the lines. The thing with Spa is that there's multiple lines around here which feel quick, but most of the time there is actually one line around here which is very fast. So here you can see I apexed a little bit early there, but I had a lot of rotation going into the corner for the hairpin, which helped me get on the power as soon as possible. The sooner you get on the power heading down to Eau Rouge, the faster you're going to be. You want to carry as much speed down here as possible. Look how much I maximize the curb on the left, clipping the curb on the right, and then straight lining the curb at the top of Radiant. That is true for real life. We also straight line that curb quite a lot, and don't get any track limit warnings provided that we're still touching the colorful curbing with our outside tires. Here you want to spot again. You see I spot the curbing as it starts, then I hit the brakes and I turn earlier than you think for that right hander so I can straight line it and prepare it for the left. And then you just got to carry as much speed through here as possible, obviously maximizing the curb on the exit, no problem. Again, for turn 8 you brake as the curb starts. It's a very good reference point, so the curbing is the curbing around this track, and then keep it tight for the exit so you can prepare no name as much as possible. Maximize the apex there, get on the power as early as you can heading down this hill without getting any track limit warnings. And then look for the right hand side, there's a black Marshall board there, a digital Marshall post, and then hug that corner, that apex a little bit longer than you think, and then the next one should be easy flat. If you're understeering through that, it's because that you apexed too early. Brake into this corner and try to get onto the curb as soon as possible. If you try and make a late apex for the first right-hander, you're just going to understeer wide for the next left. So turn in early for the first right so you can really open up the entry for the left. And then Stubble 1 is very important, also easy to understeer there. Just turn in earlier than you think and use the curb on the inside, just like we do in real life, to help rotate the car around the apex so you can maximize, so you can get on the power as early as possible, because from Stavelot 1 all the way through Blanchimont, Stavelot 2, Blanchimont, it's flat. So your straight is starting when you get on the power for Stavelot 1, and you have to keep that in mind. Okay. Now look for around the 120 meter mark, so you're looking at the 100 meter board, you're braking at 120 meters ish, just so you can get your apex. You can carry as much speed as you can through the first part of the chicane, because the run to the start finish line for a quali lap is not that long, so you don't have to actually maximize that straight as much as you think for the end of your lap. Okay, now we're going to finally cut to the onboard view, just so you can see the steering wheel movements that I applied during this lap. Again, we just brake just after the 100 meter board. Nice late-ish apex. The later you can do it, the better. But obviously, if you overshoot it, you're gonna delay the time that you are able to get on the power, heading down to Eau Rouge and Radion. I know I'm repetitive here, but it really helps. Maximize there the left-hand curb, clipping the inside curb there. Okay, in real life, we don't really clip that curb that much on the inside right, just because it's a bit dangerous. Only in Spa 24, like towards the end of the race, once the rubber is starting to build up, you start taking tighter lines, and that's pretty much the only time we really ride that inside curb. Okay, braking just as the curb starts here. You could brake later, but you're going to miss your turn-in point, and it's going to compromise you through this left-hander. So the point there is to straight line those two corners as much as possible, so you can prepare this right-hander that we just went through in fourth gear. And then for turn 8, as the curb starts, brake and go into the corner. So brake deep into the curb, and some people do a very, very late apex. I like to do a continuous tight apex through there. Both are fast, but as long as you have prepared yourself for that left-hander that we've just gone through, it's called No Name. Well, it has no name actually. It's not really called No Name, but we call it No Name. Here, Pouan, hug that apex a little bit longer than you think, clipping the outside curb briefly, and then just to be safe, going for the second apex there. If you are understeering through there, remember, hold a longer apex, and if you can't hold a longer apex, brake a little bit more on entry. Second part of the S's here, the piff paff, brief touch of the curb, nice late apex so you can get on the power and the car is nice and straight, braking as the curb starts there. Getting on the curb for Stavelot 1, super important. It helps with the rotation of the car. It happens in real life as well, so maximize the use of that curb, and then just basically minimize all steering inputs from Stavelot 1 all the way through Stavelot 2 and Blanchimont, so that you can avoid any scrubbing. Okay, finally going through Blanchimont, it should be easy flat if you get the line right, but if you miss your turning point, you're going to understeer wide. And finally braking around 120 meters for the final chicane. So there you go. I hope you found this useful. Good luck in this week's daily races. I'll be away racing in Abu Dhabi. I'll actually be sharing my pit garage. We'll be in the same team as Valentino Rossi, who's a racing hero of mine. But yeah, until next time guys, I hope you found this track guide useful, and I will catch you around the next lap. Cheers.